Okay, let's dive right into this explainer. We usually think of archaeology as just brushing dirt off old bones, right? But it's actually this incredible, meticulous jigsaw puzzle. We're drawing together these tiny, seemingly insignificant clues to reconstruct completely vanished worlds. So, here's the big question. How exactly did we go from just scraping by in the bitter ice age to building these massive, complex trading empires? It's a huge question for sure, but we're going to walk through the exact chronological steps to find the answer. Let's take a quick look at the timeline. We're going to see how this all builds, step by step, starting way back, literally before Britain was even an island, over 1 million years ago. We'll trace how our ancestors evolved from pure, raw survival to establishing complex belief systems and sweeping trade networks. Okay, step 1. Our very first jump backward takes us to a beach in Norfolk, and we actually start with totally mundane micro details. After painstakingly sifting through 70 tons, yes, 70 tons, of ancient river sediment, researchers didn't find grand monuments. Nope, they found a weathered pine cone, the beautifully preserved jaw of an extinct semi-aquatic beaver, and believe it or not, fossilized hyena poo. But by piecing these specific finds together, scientists reconstructed a lost tropical world where primitive mammoths actually roamed. And here's the kicker. The crucial point is that these sediments, along with the flint waste flakes found inside them, date back a staggering 1 million years. 1 million. This singular date completely rewrites the timeline. It pushes the earliest known human occupation of northern Europe back by hundreds of thousands of years, placing human species in this incredibly harsh environment way earlier than anyone thought possible. As one expert put it, this is the original sort of knife and fork of the Old Stone Age, and it's still sharp. This brilliantly illustrates that these incredibly ancient humans, surviving freezing climates way before Neanderthals even showed up, were crafting highly capable tools. We're talking flint butter knives. They found a small flake specifically modified along the edge, making it perfect for cutting meat. It's just an extraordinary early achievement in human engineering. Step 2. We're stepping forward hundreds of thousands of years, to the end of the last ice age, about 13,000 years ago at Cresswell Crags. For the longest time, researchers couldn't find any Ice Age art in Britain, but they use a really specific scientific process. First, locate faint scratches on the cave walls. Second, identify the thin skin of calcite or flowstone covering those lines. And third, use uranium series dating on that covering layer. And what emerged from those scratches was the distinct image of a deer. Now, what's absolutely crucial about this is that it confirms the oldest rock art in Britain. It proves our surviving ancestors had time for art. They weren't just clinging to existence by their fingernails. The faint scratches coalesce into an animal that was vital for their survival, giving us this incredible, direct emotional connection to people communicating with us from 13,000 years ago, without a written language. All right, moving to step 3, fast-forwarding to about 5,000 years ago in Orkney. Here we see early farmers really battling the elements. They were fighting this relentless war against blowing sandy soil that kept swamping their cultivated fields. And in what seems like a desperate or maybe deeply spiritual measure, they systematically built 40 overlapping cattle skulls right into the foundations of a stone wall, literally enshrining their precious livestock into the architecture. Eventually, the farming struggle proved to be too much, and after 50 generations, they abandoned the village. But as a final act, they deliberately placed the Westray wifey in the rubble. It's this tiny 5,000-year-old carved figurine, possibly a household goddess, complete with a little curvy eyebrow. Leaving it as a deliberate closing deposit gives us a super rare, fascinating glimpse into their prehistoric religious identity. Step 4. Fast-forwarding slightly to about 4,500 years ago, we see a dramatic, radical shift in how people treated their dead. This marks the rapid spread of the mysterious beaker culture. They went from burying the dead in massive communal graves to a brand new ritual, burying people in individual graves, each with a distinctive clay beaker pot. But the big mystery was, did these new ideas just spread by word of mouth, or were the people themselves actually migrating? To figure that out, scientists used an incredible step-by-step process on ancient bronze age-tooth enamel. Step 1. Extract a tiny match-head-sized piece of enamel. Step 2. Analyze the chemical isotopes locked inside from their childhood diet. And Step 3. Match those results to specific geographic rock formations to see exactly where they grew up. The results were mind-blowing. They proved that one individual, known as Kelvin Man, moved a massive 300 miles across the sea during his life. He went all the way from the Antrim basalts in Ireland to his burial site in Scotland. I mean, just think about the logistics of a 300-mile maritime journey 4,000 years ago. It completely redefines our understanding of prehistoric travel. And looking at the broader data, we realized this wasn't a one-off. Bronze Age populations were surprisingly mobile. In places like the Yorkshire Wolds, over 50% of the buried population were actually migrants, some coming from as far away as Scotland. We always kind of assume the further back we go, the more completely settled people were. But actually, the exact opposite was true. Okay, step 5. We're now stepping into the bustling Bronze Age sea trade about 3,000 years ago. Just recently, amateur divers systematically scanned the shifting seabed off the coast of South Devon and uncovered a massive haul from what is likely an ancient shipwreck. We're talking over 300 stunning objects, including bronze swords and twisted gold jewelry. One of the pieces they recovered was an intricate 8-strand twisted gold wire bracelet. As experts noted, these represent the absolute pinnacle of Bronze Age gold working. Before this, gold objects were pretty simple, just twisted single bars. But this bracelet, with its perfectly coiled individual wires, shows a sudden, extreme leap in technological craftsmanship. It proves how international commerce was pushing artisanal skills to the absolute limit. But you know what the most exciting find actually was? Ordinary, mundane lumps of raw tin. Seriously, these plain tin ingots are the ultimate prize because they're the first ever found in Northern Europe. Without tin, you literally cannot make bronze. So finding these unworked ingots proved definitively that a massive, highly organized international supply chain was operating right off the British coast. Our final chronological step brings us to a 4,000-year-old chieftain's stone-lined cist grave in Scotland. Archaeologists lifted the heavy capstone expecting to find a skeleton, but there was absolutely no human skeleton inside, just a mysterious white calcite powder. Over thousands of years, the body fluids and acidic soil had completely dissolved the bone mineral, leaving only this strange white paste clinging to the sides of the grave. Despite the missing body, the surviving artifacts told a huge story. They found a magnificent bronze dagger with a bone handle and gold binding, alongside a highly specialized limonite iron ore firemaking kit. These objects were deliberately placed there and confirm that this was a deeply powerful, incredibly wealthy individual. But the ultimate connection, the most beautiful, human detail of this entire explainer, is what else they found in that grave. Tiny, preserved meadowsweet flower heads. It proves our ancestors lovingly laid summer flowers on graves exactly like we do today. Surviving against all odds for 4 millennia, these delicate flowers show a tender, intimate moment of mourning beneath all that raw power and status. This entire step-by-step journey shows just how deeply connected we are to our ancient past. From million-year-old flint butter knives to tender floral tributes, the roots of our culture are incredibly deep. It leaves us with a pretty profound question. What everyday objects of ours will future archaeologists unearth 1 million years from now to understand us?